Greetings.
Hey,
How's everyone doing tonight? I'm here on the I'm it's at desk B.
you have multiple desks now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
I guess
mean,
I do. Technically.
one is the set, but I wanted to use the MacBook for the show, see how it went, and I didn't want to like tear everything apart. I just had to tear some things apart. So,
I just fixed my thing. It was like showing me like 480p,
oh
and now I'm
yeah,
1080p. I'm 1080p, baby.
man,
Yeah,
that's the kind of sharpness we're looking for.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Bob, since
baby.
I retired when I quit teaching, I don't know, man. I don't know. This doesn't feel like retired. I can tell you that. This doesn't feel like retired. Whew, no, we're not brothers. We're no, we're what are we? Uh,
We're brothers,
brothers from another mother.
mother and father.
Yeah, yeah. Although I never met my father, so who knows, man?
Well,
I don't
dark.
know. So, yes, yesterday was my birthday. Thank you
Oh,
for everyone.
I thought
Yeah,
it was today. In my calendar shows today.
nope, yesterday.
Hold on, hold on, because I was gonna do like a whole dance for you and everything live on the air here.
Oh boy. Well,
Oh,
we
it
missed
was
that.
it was your. Do you want me to still dance?
No,
I'm gonna
that's
take off my clothes and
I want to sleep tonight.
I'm wearing Jomo's hoodie. Are we demonetized yet?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, so yesterday was my birthday. I turned 50.
Woo!
Yeah,
You're an old fart now.
I know. I think I qualify for. Well, I don't know if you guys have AARP up there.
we know what that is.
Yeah.
But the big question is do you get the senior discount now at Waffle House?
I don't know. We don't have any Waffle houses here in Iowa. You have to go south for the Waffle House. We have
Oh,
IHOP,
okay. We
but
have like 3 IHOPs in all of Canada, I think.
man, it's disgusting. I
It,
just
it is. We have
just
Denny's though. You guys got Denny's?
yeah,
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 Denny's is classy. Just kidding.
yeah. Well, I mean, Denny's is okay. I mean, it used to be. I remember Denny's when I was a kid. It really was like a
Well, Denny's is good at like 2 o'clock in the morning after the bars are closed, and you're
yeah,
still trying to get with that chick, and you're like, I'll go feed her. And then
yeah,
you see how much she eats, and you're like, I don't think so.
yeah. Well, I mean, hey, man, hey. Uh, so we used to do the same thing. Although it was at a place called Eaton Park.
Eaton Park?
Yeah, Eat apostrophe N Park. Um,
It's different.
so we would go there. It's a Pennsylvania Denny's kind of place, right?
Okay.
And they opened one in Morgantown where I was going, where I grew up and where I was going to college. And
Uh-huh.
every night after we'd go to like a show or whatever, we would go to Eaton Park and we would drink coffee, and whoever had money would buy food.
Whoever had money. I remember those
And I
days.
remember, well, it was my roommate for a long time. He got like the back in the late '80s, early '90s. Everybody got a credit card when they graduated high school, um, just because they were handing them out. Like literally, you could apply for a credit card outside of where they were giving out the student aid. Like
Here, start your debt early.
that's exactly what it was. Oh, you just took out a student loan? Well, here.
Wow. I didn't get my
Tax-
first credit card till I was 24 on purpose.
yeah,
On purpose.
I remember paying. Oh, geez, I had $500 credit card, and I think all I did on it was buy food at Eaton Park, and then it took me years, like 2 years, 3 years to pay it off or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
actually had one. I had one get canceled on me, and then it took 7 years for them to bugger off from like bugging me about it still.
well, I I I actually had to declare bankruptcy once.
Did you? I got a couple of friends that have done that. Yeah.
Well, what happened was, so we were living in New York and making more money, right? We were making good money in New York, just working whatever jobs we were working, and the
Mhm.
band was making money. And so when we made our second record, I spent what the band had, and then I financed the rest of the record on my credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a record deal that was like in our hands. And all we had to do was work out the details. They were going to give me the money back that I'd spent, right?
They didn't though, did they?
Well, then
No.
September 11th happened.
And the
And
terrorists came and took your money.
well, the people, like the record label that it was just getting started, never happened. We literally released the record like officially in August of 2011, I think.
Okay.
And we had like all this great press, and we had hired a press agent and all this other stuff, and nobody was doing anything for like up until like the end of the year, Christmas time. And
I remember DJing after September 11th, and like I was in bars and pubs, like probably where you used to play, like similar kind of things.
Yeah.
And people would be just glued to the TV. I was literally told to turn it down, and I'm like, I haven't even started yet. It's still the jukebox.
Yeah, well, we were supposed to go on tour starting on September 12th. So
oh my God.
Our opening tour date, this was going to be a 2-week tour. Most of the dates with this band called Slobberbone, who were friends of ours, and they'd been touring their asses off, so they brought good crowds out. So it was going to be a great tour for us, and we were supposed to start in Pittsburgh on September 12th.
Yeah,
and we were supposed to rehearse the night before. We were taking a different drummer and a different bass player because our bass player and drummer couldn't do the tour. And no rehearsal happened. The next day, we had to get to Philly to meet the guys who were going to play with us because they lived in Philly. And my guitar player and I were like loading the truck, getting ready to leave. And I don't even know if we could have gotten out of the city because I think they had all of the highways out blocked still. So this was early morning on September 12th. And by the time we get everything loaded and all that, I get a phone call from our booking agent that the Pittsburgh gig was canceled. And then like slowly over the course of like the next day or two, all the dates got canceled.
It was just terrible timing.
Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, how were you supposed to know?
But I don't know.
How does anybody? I mean,
if the freaking CIA didn't know,
the government didn't know. If you believe that, okay, let's not go down that route. Well, everybody.
Anyway, that sort of left me with this huge chunk of debt. So when we left New York, a year and a half later, and our daughter was just born.
Yeah.
And we moved back to Morgantown, and the job that I got was paying me like 50% of what I was making before. So I could not pay.
Yeah.
I could not pay. So it was like $500. You pay a bankruptcy lawyer $500, and he files the papers, and then you show up at like a circuit courthouse, and you sit there for an hour, and if nobody shows up trying to get you to pay their money, then you're done. So, but I mean, it took 7 years for it to roll off the credit and that whole deal. But man, it's when I tell stories like that, I wonder why I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Why?
Because, any real smart person would be like, well, I should just stop this nonsense right now and get a job and forget about it. But no, I just turned 50 and I'm still knee deep in all the nonsense, putting myself in debt, buying all these fancy computers and shit. So I'm a moron. That's what it is. I'm just like, I'm a complete moron.
I got to tell you, I can't remember where I was going with that. Never mind. You're not a moron. Don't say that. But happy birthday. I mean, my calendar says it's today. I'm sorry. I feel like an ass now because I usually call.
I was sitting at home yesterday, like Zach didn't tweet anything.
Well, I normally always. I feel like it. I feel bad now. I feel terrible.
Yeah,
I'll get you in the next 50th.
No, yeah, 50 years from now, I'll get you then. When we tweet with our with our brains.
If we're still tweeting in 50 years, shoot me in the face like twice.
Oh my God, man. You know, the worst thing about my birthday is that, and it doesn't matter that it's my 50th birthday, although it does amplify some things, is that I end up like just having all of these like sort of, I guess I kind of like think things through at that moment, you know, a little checkup, a check-in with myself to say,
Mhm.
hey, am I still a moron? And the answer is, survey says,
Don't say that.
yes. Ding, 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 ding. So anyway, yeah, today was a crazy day because um I got the new computer.
What did you get?
I got the 16-inch MacBook Pro.
Pro or Pro M1X?
MacBook Pro.
You got the double Pro?
I got the double Pro. I didn't get the double Max.
I mean, what? Why go Pro when you can go double Pro?
I got the MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro.
Like, how did they not? Did they sit around the boardroom and go, you know, that makes sense. People won't make fun of that. Let's go with that.
I don't think they care that people make fun. I think they're trolling us. I think that honestly, they're doing all this stuff to make us look like idiots.
Well, it makes it fun. Yeah. Here's the thing: you don't. In the past, you don't say I got the MacBook Pro with the Intel. Da 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 da. You just, do you know what I mean, right?
Well,
So
I would say like, you know, i7 or even Core i7, but
yeah. But most people who they're going for are just like, you know, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, right? They don't know what's inside, right?
Right. And I think, well, I mean, for the lower end stuff, the 13-inch MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air, that stuff.
The 13-inch, like Starbucks version, I call it.
Yeah.
You can use a Starbucks. Come on.
You could easily just, because they all come with the same chip, you could easily just say, well, I got, you know, this.
Can I use this 13-inch MacBook at Starbucks on my screenplay? Yes. Let's go.
Man, so I got this. They, of course, was supposed to deliver between 11:30 and 1:30.
Yeah.
So what time do you think it came?
Like 4?
No. Like,
and did you fall on your face this time going in to get it?
1:40.
That's and did you fall again? Did you fall?
No. Thankfully, I did not. I was smart this time. I signed for it online.
It's rough out in these YouTube streets.
Oh yeah, man. My elbow is still messed
up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the YouTube streets really quick. A little self-promotion here. So I launched a new channel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched anything. I released my second video today. Zach Talks Pixel.
I know. I haven't had a chance to watch any video.
I know you haven't subscribed yet.
I'm getting there.
I'm kidding. You know, it's tough, right? Click the red button.
I haven't literally looked at YouTube in like 3 days. So.
I gotta tell you, there's something refreshing about starting a new channel, and going in. So I actually have 3 other videos that are already on the channel. Okay,
right.
But I made today's video I made last night just kind of because I saw the trends. So I'm going in, like I'm looking at Google Trends, I'm looking at YouTube Trends in terms of Pixel.
Yeah.
And I'm capitalizing on like who hasn't done videos or certain titles. And I'm purposely going in, like I'm going very analytical. And you know what? It's really refreshing hyper niching down. It makes it a lot easier to get that analytical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course I'm competing with everybody else right now. But when everybody else is not doing Pixel stuff, I'm going to continue doing Pixel stuff. Of course, I'm doing Pixel and Google ecosystem stuff. Yeah. So when I say, I thought about calling it Zach Talks Google, but that's so broad. I mean, that could be anything that they do, right?
Yeah.
So when I say Google ecosystem, like the speakers, the Chromecast, Stadia, things that I have and like and everything. And you know what is even more refreshing is that because I have a passion for the Pixel phones. I've always been a Pixel fan. I'm going back to the Nexus 4s and everything. It is extremely fun to record and edit videos again. I'm not saying it's not on the regular channel and everything. Do you know what I mean? But like when you hyper niche down, it's like, okay, right?
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun. I know it's only been I mean, I didn't mean, I wasn't going to launch the channel till today, but I launched it on Saturday just for the hell of it. And I dropped that first video on Sunday. And everybody
Yeah.
that's here that has come through, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. But I have one request, everybody. Please do not subscribe to Zach Talks Pixel unless that actually interests you. I'm not interested in vanity numbers. I'm interested in the algorithm working for me and me working for the algorithm, which is you, the audience, by serving content to people that want to watch it, that want to click the notifications, that want to go through the sub feed, that want to watch the stuff. Okay. So if you have any sort of interest in Pixel and everything like that, go ahead. But if it's not really your thing, whatever, you're just kind of more of a general tech kind of person, maybe don't, so I don't want empty subs is what I'm saying. Yeah. And I do appreciate if anybody wants to get those numbers up there. That's not the goal. The goal is to kind of do a soft reboot. I'm still going to do my streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays on my regular channel, possibly add on another stream on Sundays, and still publish general tech stuff, Samsung, Apple, Pixel stuff as well.
Right.
But Zach Talks Pickle is straight, just the Pixel stuff, right? So
Zach Talks Pickles. Yeah,
Alan, what I'll do is I'll drop a link in the chat here, and this is all I want to talk about it. But but Jason, you've done the sort of the same thing with the music channel and a few other things, right?
Yeah,
it's refreshing, right?
It is, and lately I've had more ideas of things that I actually want to make videos about for that channel than for this channel. But I have just been losing my mind because it has everything to do with the fact that we've got the baby and time is no longer what it was just several months ago. But I get like 2 videos done and then 5 live streams for Amazon, and then this live stream every week. I can't get anything else done. It's driving me crazy. It's making me insane because there's stuff that I want to do, and when I don't have anything that I have to do, I'm just exhausted, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take a nap.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, I've got a ton of stuff that I want to do videos on for that channel, but I just
gotta find the time.
Yeah. And I need to be better with time management.
Oh, so do I, dude. Totally.
Well, because what ends up happening for me is, since I'm here, if a family thing is encroaching, then I kind of go that way. If it's not like you go to a job and you're there, it's like you are at home and you're doing your job, but there's all kinds of other things that draw your attention. And then like today, I wanted to get a video out about at least the MacBook or the AirPods today. And I shot the videos, but by the time I got done shooting the videos, it was like, okay, so live streams in 2 hours. I might as well do something with this computer. I used Time Machine. I did a Time Machine. I brought a Time Machine backup in and set this computer up with a Time Machine backup, and that's the first time that I ever did that. Because I've always just
preferred. Usually pretty simple process, right?
Yeah, I may have done it. At some point in the past, but that would have been a long time ago. And I was always just worried about bringing like whatever little weird problems your previous computer had, because your computer always develops like some kind of weirdness, and you just deal with it. So I was always worried about that. But anyway, I just had gotten the iMac set up to the point where I had everything downloaded. I had all the stuff, et cetera. And I just didn't want to download everything again, because at this point it takes forever.
Yeah.
It literally takes like months to get everything from everywhere, because it's like you remember the big things, but then you're like, oh, I need to go download this plugin, or
it's kind of like restoring a new Android and everything like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I get a new Android, I can't wait to get the Pixel on Thursday, maybe tomorrow. In fact, that phone call that came through while we were talking, that was my dealer. That sounds bad. My carrier. Anyway, and he left a message. I really want to listen to it. Anyway,
So
whenever I get a new Android, I don't ever do the swap of the apps. Like I'll transfer the data, like maybe the photos and the text, right?
yeah,
I like to install all the apps, and I purposely have both phones beside each other, and I go through the Play Store, and I always manage to miss like the critical app. You know what I mean, right?
yeah. It's funny. Like I I think with phones, I always set up like I never do like a transfer from the phone, another phone thing. I always just set it up like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Um, but it's easier with the phone because you sign into Google or whatever, and most of the important stuff shows up. If it's an iPhone and you sign into your iCloud account, all that stuff shows up, and it's just a matter of like downloading and putting in a few passwords here and there. But Steven asks, have I had any issues with the audio gear not working with the M1 MacBooks? Now, that was an issue with the M1 MacBooks last year. A lot of the manufacturers had, manufacturers, software developers, everybody was having it had to catch up. And yes, there was Rosetta mode, but Rosetta mode didn't always work for some of this more specialized niche stuff. But right now, I'm sitting here plugged into my setup, and I'm going from an outboard pre into a mixing board, out of the mixing board into the computer. I had to use loopback.
Loopback's awesome, dude. That's what I'm using right now.
Yeah. I re-downloaded loaded loopback, and so everything is working fine.
Yeah.
And so that's good. I almost destroyed my mixer because
Which
I got my foot caught on
which mixer? The big boy?
the Tascam that I've got.
Oh no, don't break that thing, dude.
I was like moving around quickly, got my foot caught on the cable to my Bear Dynamic DT770s,
Mm-hmm.
and yanked the cable
Oh no.
hard enough that it broke off.
Oh, I've done that.
It broke off the adapter.
I know what that
Right?
sounded. I was about to say, was it the adapter? I know what that sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, it snapped. It snapped the
Yeah.
head off the adapter,
Oh
and this came out all bent.
no.
I think it's still workable, but um, I I I was like, because I'd had this happen before, but it was just because it was like a cheap adapter. Never use
Yeah.
cheap adapters because they'll end up getting stuck inside your thing, and and then you got to go to somebody to get it out. But all I did was I went into the garage. I found a screw,
Yeah.
and I just stuck the screw in, like, because the adapter's hollow inside to a certain point,
Yeah.
and I just like sort of levered it in there and then pulled up and popped right out. So
Oh man.
yeah.
We should probably dive into a little bit more. Okay, so do you have another camera angle where you can show, because you're streaming on the new MacBook, are you not?
I am streaming on the new MacBook right now.
Are you using a separate monitor?
I am not.
Like I can show
So-
mine. Mine's right here.
So I don't have.
baby.
I guess I could pick up the main camera because it's just on a tripod. Hold on.
Can you? Are you wearing pants? Careful. Oh yeah. That keyboard does look different.
It is different,
Yeah.
and I like it a lot, to tell you the
Yeah.
truth. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So I pulled the box. So I picked up the box, right? It comes in is a box inside of a box. So I picked up the whole thing and wasn't thinking too much about it. And then when I opened the box and I picked up the actual box, I was like, holy crap, this thing is really heavy. Like it really is heavy.
Did it come with a power adapter?
It did. It did.
Oh, by the way, side note, I have to talk about this now real quick. You know Patrick Tommaso?
Yes.
He did a video today on the microfiber cloth.
Oh man.
It was amazing.
See, when I went to order mine, right?
Did you not order yet? I told Viper you did.
I ordered it, but I'm
Yeah.
not getting it until December.
Oh, okay. Sir, I don't care when it shows up.
Yeah.
Please do like a 25-minute like review. Go like microing on it and everything. Like Patrick said he's gonna iron out the crease in here. And I'm like, no, you'll ruin it. You can't iron that. Can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'll go micro on the microfiber cloth.
I want you to go deep on this thing because you like last week. I can't believe you're. Anyway, I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about last week because it was like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. No, I so far this computer has been super solid. I mean, the fact that I got it at 2 o'clock, let's say.
How much? How much RAM?
Just 16 gigs.
Okay. Well, what? Hold on. You got one of the. You could have gone higher than that. Why didn't you go higher than that?
Well, for two reasons. One,
Oh.
I don't think I need more, and two, in order to get one to be able to review for the channel like in a timely manner, if you order anything special, then you wait another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But if you just order what they offer off the shelf, then
I can empathize with that because I was trying to get the cloudy white, also known as the Stormtrooper white in 256, and I'm actually going with 128 Stormy Black, but I might trade up later on.
Yeah,
but I understand. I've been there. I'm there right now.
Basically, like this is the middle spec. It's got a 1 terabyte hard drive.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the 10 cores, 16 graphics cores, 16 gigs of RAM or unified memory or whatever they want to call it these days.
Nice.
And yeah, so it's
pro.
It is. It's pro. It's pro. I think the classiest thing about it is on the bottom.
The bottom.
On the bottom, they have stamped into the metal MacBook Pro.
Yeah, because people will see that.
Well, it's just it's a nice touch. It looks really good. It looks really nice. And so the only things that are sort of identifying this are the Apple logo on the back of the screen, and that MacBook Pro stamped into the bottom. But there's no like MacBook Pro on the inside anymore or anything like that. The screen is unbelievable.
It's the new one, right?
It's like, let me tell you what they call it. So let me go here to about this Mac. I think that's where displays built-in. Okay, no, it's under display in the system preferences. The presets for making it look like it's like the little it's called Apple XDR display P3 1600 nits. That's
1600 nits.
Yeah, that's the peak brightness. I think the normal brightness is like 800 or 1000. I can't remember which. And then the refresh rate is ProMotion.
So it's like 120 hertz top, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's the same as what the iPads and the iPhones have. But it works differently because it's not predicated on like your the response to your finger. But from a quality standpoint, I've seriously never seen a better screen on a laptop ever.
Are you now? Hold on. I know that you don't normally work on a laptop screen because you normally have a bigger monitor. Are you going to be hooking up to another monitor or anything like that?
Well, I had my 34-inch up here, and I just didn't like how it was setting up. So, and also the 34-inch is 1440. It's a very nice Dell monitor. It's like an $800 Dell monitor. Very nice Dell monitor. I guess I probably will use it, but I want to use this screen too. And the way that this desk is set up, it's going to be hard to like figure out how to do that.
So my follow-up is have you started planning I'm returning the MacBook Pro video?
No, I have not.
Okay, good.
for I have no intentions of returning this computer at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I have been waiting for this particular computer. Well, I mean, like everybody else, I was very intrigued by what they might come out with whenever they came out with something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they announced these computers at the event, I was just like, it's everything I ever hoped for and more.
But you went with 16 gigabytes of RAM.
I don't think it's going to matter.
I know.
Honestly.
I know, because RAM management is done differently on the Pro Pros.
And the thing is, like, if I went off the shelf for the only way that I could get an off the shelf 32 gigs of RAM model was if I went with the top off the shelf spec, which had the max and 32 gigs of GPU and 32 gigs of RAM, and it was $3,500. And so I just didn't feel like I needed to go that far.
How does the notch feel?
It's a non-issue. It's
because it's in the menu, right?
Yeah, it's like the menu bar actually extends like maybe an eighth of an inch below. Mm-hmm. So it's not a continuous. The notch doesn't like bisect it completely. It's in the menu bar. Gotcha. But it's a total non-issue, and it's such a pain in the ass that people are complaining about it. Because to me, it's like, okay, like if any other laptop company had decided to solve the problem of getting a better webcam in there with this solution, people might mention it, but it wouldn't be like, there wouldn't be all the like hand wringing and like wailing from the masses.
I think that's over. I haven't heard much since, because it's built into the menu, right? It's not. It doesn't interfere, kind of like the notch on the iPhone, because it's in line with the icons at the top, right? So
yeah, it's a total non-issue. And actually, I'm going to switch to.
Can you trust the MacBook Pro?
The FaceTime camera. Look at that.
Okay, that definitely looks like a FaceTime camera.
Well, I mean, it's $2,000 camera or FaceTime camera.
Yeah, I did a Microsoft Teams call today with the company I work for. And I'm set up. I was set up in here today using my personal, because my work laptop died. Like literally, we wouldn't turn on yesterday. And they're like, "Oh, is that your studio? Is that a video game?" No, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about that here. Look how good his camera is. I'm like, it better be. Everybody else is using these potato cams. Why not order the MacBook Pro configuration 1 and then take the base configuration back when the Windows, as long as the shipping times are cost? Because Gino says it's the hot topic now, and you need to get.
Well, I mean, that's what I did when the M1 machines came out. Yeah. When the M1 machines came out, I ordered an off-the-shelf 13-inch MacBook Pro, and then I ordered a MacBook or a Mac Mini, 16 gigs of RAM, a terabyte of storage. Like stuff that wasn't available like straight off the shelf, and it came like 10 days, 2 weeks later, whatever. So that was always the plan with that. The problem was, like, I mean, I know I seem like I'm like an ever-flowing fountain of money, but I could not afford to get like one $2,700 computer and another $3,900 computer at the same time. I realize that that's probably surprising to people, but
this is the judging cam.
But yeah, so that's why I went with this one. And honestly, like I said, I don't think that this is going to be an issue. Yeah, Retethered's right. Like I could just go to Best Buy and walk in, and they'd be like, "Hey." The funny thing is, Steven asked earlier, and I didn't get a chance to answer if I had returned the Apple Watch Series 7 yet.
Oh, have you?
The answer is yes.
Oh man.
And I'll tell you why. Okay, a very nice watch. Super nice. Okay? Don't judge me. Super nice watch. However, it was doing this weird thing, and I like reset it a couple of times and stuff.
What
It
do you
was
mean
doing
weird thing?
so every once in a while, for reasons I couldn't figure out, the display would get huge, and like one number from the clock would be stuck in the middle of the thing, and I would try and move it around or like resize it or close it and open it back up. It just wouldn't stop, so I'd have to like hard reset it, and it just kept doing it. So
Weird.
that's another reason why I took it back. Um, and it was the only one they had in the store when I on the day that I went there. So, but I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, for once, go on.
The only thing that I miss about having a newer Apple Watch is the always onness of it.
I love that. I had always on display with the was it Series 5? Yeah, because Series 5 was the first one that
Yeah.
had that.
Yeah.
And I never experienced any battery issues. I used it for workouts, for walks and stuff like that. Like it turn on the, when going for a walk, turn that feature on, right? I mean, you don't have to because it automatically usually picks up that you're doing stuff. But I know a lot of people had issues with battery at first with the always on. Did you ever?
No, and I will say that the battery on the Watch Series 7 was nearly a 2-day battery. So
Pretty good.
it was much better than it's much better than the Series 4 ever was that I still have. But yeah, I don't know. When I got the Watch Series 7, I returned my Galaxy Watch 4 Classic.
Oh, I thought you were enjoying that.
I was. But again, I couldn't afford to have two like $450 watches. I like, this is a delicate balancing act that I got going
Yeah,
on.
you're not Marquez with a drawer full of phones,
No. I mean,
which
I've
is a
got
huge fire hazard. I can't believe. Anyway,
one day we hear that some YouTuber died because one.
well, John Rettinger. They did that remodel and everything like that. And I asked him when he put on Twitter some video like of all the different bins. He's got all his phones in plastic bins just in storage. And
Right.
I'm like, did you find any swelled batteries? Like, actually, yeah, quite a few. Like, he's lucky this didn't burst, right?
Right.
I told you what happened with our Galaxy S7. Hey, did
Yeah.
you ever see the picture? Yeah, just totally expanded. And it's just sitting up at the top of Actually, it was right next to some linens and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's what lithium ion batteries do. It's not the brand or anything. It's just what they do.
yeah. Eventually, they're going to do that.
If they sit long, they don't always do that, but they can if they just sit there with nothing happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So wait, somebody was asking a question I wanted to get to. Oh yeah, okay. Here, Michael was asking, or no, John Mack was asking, what do you think Windows will do before these new computers came out? And the M1 MacBook kicks 75% of Windows laptops. Anyone buying an XP at this point stands no chance of any resale value. I mean, that's always a problem. That's always a problem with Windows and Android.
Yeah.
Like resale value is always a big issue. Like I sold my iPhone 13 Pro Max again to finance. Like there's too many things, you know. And I bought myself a guitar for my birthday, and so
Another one?
no, that was my mad money for, whatever. And usually I would spend that during Techtober. I would usually spend a chunk of whatever mad money I had on stuff, right?
Gotcha.
But I spent it on myself this time. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if I told everybody, like I bought myself a 1971
I saw the picture.
Gibson SG.
I don't know what that means, but it looks sexy. Do you have it nearby? Do you have it nearby?
It is actually upstairs right now.
Oh, well, why don't you leave, and I'll entertain everybody.
No,
And you don't want to let me take over?
no, I just don't want to. I don't
want to move. It's all good.
But yeah, so I sold the 13 Pro Max, and it was 256 gig. I sold it on Swappa for total, I think like $1,230. That includes shipping and the Swappa charge.
Swappa does pretty good for you guys in the United States. Like, I don't I don't know if we used to or if we have an equivalent of Swappa here in Canada, but I couldn't register much on there.
If I So the thing that I like about Swappa, but is also kind of a pain in the rear end about Swappa, is like they are super diligent about um they're super diligent about how you rate the quality of what you put up there.
Yeah,
And
like they make
also,
you take pictures of all different angles. It's crazy.
well, I had like a few fingerprints left on the stainless steel edge of the 13 Pro
Uh-huh.
Max. And I got an email back. They're like, there's marks on it. We can't call it mint. I was like,
Oh, because it's fingerprint.
that's a fingerprint. So
Wow.
I like polished it and
Yeah.
retook the picture, and they let me put it up as mint. Um, so at like, and I've done the same thing with the iMac that I have, but I had like, iMacs get dust on the back of them, and I had wiped it down and everything, but I missed like one section of dust, and they kicked it back to me, and they're like, you can't call it mint. It looks like it has some wear on the back. Like, "Oh, yeah." So
Wow.
they also won't let you list anything that's still under like a payment plan.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
Which I mean, eBay doesn't care. Like,
eBay's like the wild, wild west.
yeah, eBay doesn't care. Right
I
now,
wouldn't sell anything on
I'm
there.
so freaking pissed at eBay right now because
Uh-oh.
I do sell things on eBay. I've
Mm-hmm.
kind of got like if I've got some nice electronics that I can move through Swappa, I do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then musical instruments and other related stuff I do through Reverb. But everything else goes through eBay. And I sold a bunch of stuff on eBay 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this notification from eBay saying like, "Oh, we need you need to you need to verify your bank account." And I went to try and do it, and they gave you the choice to either like click a button and sign into your bank, and then it would do it, or get these little microtransactions sent through. So I tried the click through thing 3 times, 4 times, didn't work. So then I was like, okay, I'll click microtransactions and then I'll call them because I have money sitting there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've already sent the stuff. so so I have money sitting on eBay, and I get on the phone and I have to go through like 2 or 3 different people. Finally I get to this Irish woman, and like young lady, I believe. And she could have told me anything.
Just
The the accent, I was done. Like,
yeah.
eBay
Yeah.
was so smart. Like,
Yeah.
"Okay, let's have a call center in Ireland." Like, I was done. I wasn't gonna yell at this young lady.
Yeah.
So, but she tried to help me. She was like, "Let's wait and see if microtransactions don't come through." So I
Yeah.
called back last week. They're like, "Well, let's wait one more day." They still don't come through. Still haven't come through. And then they're like, "We need a bank statement. Upload a bank statement." So I go and try and do that. Can't do it. So this bank account had already been verified for years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so anyway, eBay always finds some way to ruin your life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not a big fan of how, I mean, I haven't experienced myself, but I've read plenty of horror stories of people like within our community, and the customer will claim that they never received it, and then the seller's out, like they never get paid. Like the eBay seems to favor, they always seem to side with the buyers more than anything. Yeah.
Well, see, I think it's better now. I've had that same problem. I've had stuff sent to me. Like I bought I think like an amp, like
Yeah.
a stereo amp, and it came to me with like the cord was just tied off inside. There was there were no electronics inside. The cord was tied off so it wouldn't come out the back.
It was
And
gutted.
there is what was like a rock in bubble wrap in there.
It was gutted.
Yeah.
Lots in Canadian.
I've bought turntables. Never buy or sell a turntable to ship.
Oh my God!
It will be destroyed.
Do you remember what happened? Do you remember what happened with this? Remember I told you guys? It came like activated and it has someone's personal photos in here, and there's some personal photos in here. And I
Mm,
emailed back, like, I emailed the customer service, or went through the steps, and I just got this quick little thing from the seller, sorry, and a refund. And that was it. It's like, and I'm thinking to myself, do you want this
yeah,
back? What I think is that they probably picked it up from a pawn shop or stole it, and then
yeah, yeah. I mean, eBay can be very sketchy, but now that eBay no longer, like, all the payments don't travel through PayPal, because eBay and PayPal used to be like connected, and then they were
yeah,
disconnected, and then you had eBay's like seller policies and PayPal seller policies, and sometimes you would get stuck in between them and nobody would
yeah.
give you money. Um, but now eBay just sends the money straight to your bank.
Good job. All right, let's we're coming up on our last half hour here. Let's talk about the pickles that are in the house.
So I don't have one. I don't have a pickle.
I'm picking up. So I have a voicemail literally sitting because that phone call that came through, like I said,
Yeah.
was my carrier, and he's either calling to say come by Thursday or come by tomorrow or even come by tonight. Which I can't because I'm doing my stream after this. By the way, everybody, I'm doing a stream right after this at 10:15 Eastern on Zach Talks Tech. Jason, did you watch anybody's? So let's back up. People on Team Pixel got their devices and were allowed to do initial impressions and show hardware and show the home screen, but could not publish pictures or video or talk about the software in any shape or fashion until the official embargo was lifted yesterday at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Right. And we talked about this some last night with Mr. Who's the Boss and his tweet and that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the official street release date, because is actually this Thursday, the 28th. Oh my God. That's him again. So the phone's not officially released yet, but have you watched anybody's videos on the software or the pictures or anything? What are your thoughts?
No, have not.
You haven't watched anyways?
No.
I watched a few yesterday.
I
retweeted out a ton of them.
No, I haven't watched anything. I did get to touch one at Best Buy the other day.
Was it nailed down like mine was?
No, it was just on the normal like thing.
Did you take any pictures and nearby share them to yourself? No. So I did a video on the new channel.
I did take a picture of the phone
and
tweet out the picture saying, "Hey, am I supposed to like make a video about this here?"
So so this is a side story. It's it's over now. So if you were on Team Pixel, you signed and agreed to an embargo that you couldn't publish anything that or even talk about because you're getting these devices. Yet anybody could walk into a local Best Buy, and several people that we know, including myself, made videos using Best Buy units that were there. Now, here's the thing. I know this is controversial. I think I had Viper on my stream last Thursday. We were talking about this. First of all, I don't think there's anything. I know that you and I have opposing views on this. Okay. First of all, I understand where Aaron was coming from, Mr. Who's the Boss, about, because he wants to get it one and done, right? And it's kind of funny because now
he doesn't want to be manipulated by the company.
But hold on, he still puts out a video yesterday.
Well, yeah.
No. What Aaron is complaining about, and I understand where he's coming from, is first access, early access. Whereas what Google has done here is they've put it on a level playing field. Nobody could release pictures or videos until yesterday at the embargo time. Nobody. So you, me, Viper, Mr. Who's the Boss, MKBHD, iJustine, Michael Fisher, we're all on the same level. That's a good thing in my opinion. However, I do see the other side of the coin, which is, like you said, the quote unquote manipulation. But I don't consider it manipulation. It's part of the I guess you want to call it deal of getting the access early. And like I said, it gives a level playing field. I don't think there's anything nefarious going on.
Oh, there definitely is. Because
you got a real axe to grind, don't you?
No. I mean, this is like a tried and true marketing technique. This happens with almost everything that guys like Aaron and Marquez and Michael Fisher, those guys, all those plus 1 million guys, this
Yeah.
happens to them with pretty much everything that they get. They get dual embargoed.
Mhm.
And what ends up happening is the company gets for free, or the cost of whatever the device is,
Yeah.
millions upon millions of eyeballs, not once,
Yeah.
but twice.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's a way to extend the hype.
And so they do this by putting artificial barriers in, like they give these guys the phones. Like all those guys had this phone way before any Team Pixel person did, right? So they've had the phone for a month. In fact, Aaron said in his tweet that he'd like had hands-on time with it 2 months ago.
Yeah, you had an early production yet. Yep.
So what he's frustrated with, and I understand, is that they're being manipulated by being told, hey, you can show this, that, the other thing, and make a video about it. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But you can't do any of the real stuff that you would want to do until we say so. Now, I think you're right that it's a good thing that all of the people who got the free phones could put the stuff out at the same time.
Yeah.
But
and you know what's funny is that all the bigger names seem to put out the embargo lifted on a bunch of Apple stuff yesterday at the same time. So you know that Apple's totally trolling because that happened, because I saw, for example, Marquez and iJustine, everything, they all released Apple stuff yesterday. And that actually makes sense because their channels do a lot better with Apple. Let's be perfectly honest here. Apple stuff has a much higher and long lasting shelf life than Android stuff in general. It's always been like that.
Well, I mean, if anybody had to choose between a Pixel and a new MacBook that's going to change the way that computing is done,
it's completely different audiences. And that brings me to my next point, because you were at Best Buy, Jason.
Yeah.
The people that, okay, let's clear this up, because it's not the same audiences, and I hate the whole generalizing thing. Okay, the people that are watching the videos of me, Tech 702, and everybody else that went into a Best Buy and took pictures and shared them out or put them to nearby share or whatever. For me, I did the magic eraser thing and did really well. It's my first video on the new channel and everything. The people that are watching those videos, those hands-on, and if you want to call them anti-embargo, you can go ahead. Some people use tags like that or names, everything. I didn't. Those people there are not the same people. Those people that are watching those videos are not the same people that are going into Best Buy and seeing the display. Do you know what I mean? Like the people that are going into a Best Buy and they see the Google Pixel display, they're not necessarily searching Google Pixel, watching as much as they can, right? So like, because some people are complaining, saying, "Well, I'm under embargo and I can't do anything," but this guy can go into Best Buy and put out a video. Boo hoo hoo. Maybe not so many words. I mean, okay. I saw the words thirsty thrown around.
Anybody who complains that they've got a new phone,
yeah,
and they got it for free from the company,
yeah.
Anybody who's complaining about anything about that needs to shut the fuck up.
There you go. But what I'm trying to say is that it's different audiences, right? And you can still put out a video under the embargo if you got one early and still benefit and do something unique. I'm going to tell you something right now. I saw a lot of really generic, lazy ass videos yesterday. Seriously. Like people that, just you've had the phone for over a week and you put this out. Are you serious? Adam, Tech Odyssey, actually did something unique. I think he put out 3 videos, and his second video was one focusing on taking food pictures with the Pixel. That interests me and my wife because we like to take pictures of our food.
Well, here's the issue. Most of the people, a larger majority of people who are getting the Team Pixel phones, right, are smaller YouTube channels.
Yep.
And not by virtue of like how big or small they are, but by virtue of how experienced they are at doing this, they don't know what to do.
I disagree. Some of the ones that were really lazy yesterday have under $100,000 subscriber. Some of them under 50,000, and have well over 200, 300 videos. Like have been doing this for a while,
but they haven't been getting free phones ahead of time. And it's a totally different thing. I mean, if they're lazy, they're lazy. But I'm just saying, like, it takes a while to like learn the pattern of the pre-release, like how you have to run up to the embargo date. I mean, I know the first time I got something that had an embargo on it, like I had all good intentions of making content and having it be ready for the time, but I ended up like being the day before making the video.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people just maybe aren't used to having that access, or haven't sort of built up their ability to manage that deadline.
There were quite a few creators as well too that they did like an initial reaction thing, or when they got the hardware, like this is what they were allowed to. But on embargo day yesterday, they like until and still going into today, they still have not done anything because they want to give it a longer time, do a longer term review. Those videos I'm going to be very interested in, because they decided to, rather than playing the game and releasing at the same time as everybody else. Do you know what I mean? That shows some integrity. I'm looking forward to those videos. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's, to me, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. Like Google, and giving so many phones out to so many creators at so many different levels. They're doing like the shotgun thing.
Well, they're flooding the market. They're doing what Samsung does, which is every 45 days they have a new phone in the market, 30 to 45 days, and so they're flooding YouTube and the algorithm and Google and everything like that for the next 2 weeks because of the dual embargo thing, right? And so now when someone next month goes, oh, I'm due for a renewal of my contract, and oh, let me do a search for the new Google phone. Who's are they going to see? They're going to see all these glowing, you know what I mean? Right?
Well, yeah. I think it's a very strange, it's a very strange strategy.
It's not. It's. I don't think there's any strange thing about it. It's just it's marketing, and there's definitely a fine line between, are you a marketer for brands, or are you a reviewer? And in for example with Aaron, Mr. Who's the Boss, he stuck for his moral compass there and everything, and said, hey, I'm a reviewer first and whatever. But then he still releases a video yesterday, so it's kind of.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that though, because obviously he had the time with the phone.
Yeah.
And the fact that he released a video on embargo day.
But he actually puts in the tweet, Jason, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this, I've even have it early, and then he still releases a video. Come on, man.
I don't remember him saying anything about.
Really? Let me bring up the tweet. Go ahead.
See,
I'm a fan just as much as you are. I mean, I interviewed him and everything at the.
Oh, I'm not a fan. I don't like his videos at all.
Oh, really? Why not?
He annoys the crap out of me.
Oh, okay.
I don't like his videos at all.
Damn, dude.
But I do like what he's trying to do with his position in the marketplace.
I'll read the tweet. There's no point in me showing. His tweet was specific to the day, not that he wasn't going to in general. I won't be covering the Google Pixel 6 today. Again, this is October 19th when everybody's getting their review units. I got a lot of thoughts. I actually had hands-on the prototype as early as 2 months ago, but frankly, because of how Google is severely limiting what we can say, I can't with a clear conscience make a video I'd be proud of. And then he follows up with saying, I asked them 3 times to clarify why we needed a dual embargo, and all I got was this response. The reason for the dual embargo, this is Google's response, the reason for the dual embargo is the same as last year, thanks, which is like a non-answer.
Well, I mean, and the reason is so that they can get 2 cycles out of him.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I understand Google's side of it, and I understand Aaron's side of it. However, I like how it made it to a level playing field up until yesterday.
I mean, if you agree to abide by the terms of an embargo, that makes you more a part of the marketing plan than not. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, as long as you understand that that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that Google has done since they started Team Pixel, and the thing that kind of irks me about the entire process, is that they are doing what they're doing in order to almost assure themselves of not just positive coverage, but like way over the top, like just, well, I'm not going to be crude, but people get the Google phones for free and they feel so excited about it that they just lose their marbles and lose all perspective. And for those creators, for like the month or whatever it is that Google has their attention, all they think about is Google.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I guess it's a good strategy, but it's in that framework not necessarily a level playing field, because they're preying on the weak to a certain extent.
I mean, yeah, if you're yeah,
I mean,
if you've never received a review unit before and things like that, I mean, it could be overwhelming and this and that. But I think in the end, you need to ask yourself: are you in it for the brand, or are you in it for the viewer? Like, why did you get into this? And I think as long as you're honest with your audience and just straight up, like, this is how I review, and this is this is where I am with in terms of your integrity and your moral compass and everything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Where I take issue is if someone's always going along this path in terms of being a reviewer, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Because
the thing is, like, let's be realistic for a second. Who among the people who are like newer YouTubers, like, who are still trying to get recognition in the community, et cetera, still trying to get a video to break through, still trying to like sort of make their mark and put a stake down, right?
Mhm.
Who among them is likely to have how can I say this? Is who among them is likely to put their morals first?
Yeah.
When it comes to, I have a chance to get like a ton of views because
Well, see, okay,
I got this.
now you're trying to now you're okay. So now you're kind of entering the territory, Jason, saying that if someone gets a review unit, they can't be trusted. That's not it
Well,
at all.
um,
I think as a viewer, you have to look at someone's body of work and what they've done and how the things are being presented. And I don't think people are stupid. They'll know whether it's.
see, but you said it yourself. Like the viewer is not there for the creator. The viewer is there for the phone, right? So they haven't studied anybody's body of work. They're just Googling or YouTube, like searching on YouTube for Pixel 6, and they end up with this glut of videos from people who got the phones for free, right? And a lot of those videos are going to be like overly positive, maybe because of the perceived loyalty that people feel to the company for giving them a shot, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's difficult to trust that whole process, because that whole process is predicated on, well, if we give it to people who don't have as much, if we give the phone to people who don't have as much cachet in the community, then they're more likely to want to play ball and keep in good graces with us, so that like we get the best possible coverage in mass quantities, because there's going to be like 1,000.
See, I don't know if I can see that with other brands, other phone brands out there in the past, but with Google, and I've noticed it more this year than any other year. I've seen a lot of fair criticism that you would not normally see in the past. If people want to make sure they keep on getting stuff that people would just kind of keep tight-lipped with. Tech Odyssey is quoted in my video because I used his clip with his permission, saying, this whole phone is like a Bentley, but then you have this Kia 2014 model in-display fingerprint sensor that doesn't work half the time, right? I'm paraphrasing, right?
Yeah.
And so I've seen comments like that from him and from other people that we know that have been really critical in this and that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being critical. I think Google in general, I think brands in general are okay with criticism as long as it's delivered in a professional way. It's not someone just screaming do you know what I mean? Right? I mean, one of the best people that's at best at sending criticism is Michael Fisher. I want him to criticize me. He's so good at it. Do you know what I mean? Right? So, and you're really good at it too with your the Can You Trust series, right? Because it's fair and balanced.
Except for the fact that, I mean, I've now been disowned by 2 phone companies.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You did say you. I don't want to go down. I didn't want to go here tonight, Jason. But we don't have to. But I mean, you know what you.
I think we should. I think we should.
Well, I mean, you know what you said and everything. So
yeah, and I know what I said about the Pixel 3 or 3 XL or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
and I also know that I was critical of Samsung, and both of them are, sort of said, "Oh, we're not going to work with that guy anymore."
Yeah,
which is fine. That's their purview. But they definitely. It would be one thing if Google reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're interested in this criticism that you had. Maybe it was a little of this, maybe it was a little of that. These are the things that bothered us."
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they just they ghosted me, which is, I mean, that's their purview as well. Fine. Some companies are totally down for whatever criticism, and I mean, some companies won't send me stuff ever.
I mean, we Edifier themselves told us in that email thread, remember?
Yeah.
Jason, I'm afraid to send a pair of headphones to you because of how critical you can be. And it's like, isn't that what you want? Isn't it?
But they don't want that, because Google sees YouTube as an extension of its marketing plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about providing the best information for the consumer.
Yep.
It's about providing like the overall sort of best, the best, like the way that they want it's the best way to ensure that the way that they want people to see their phones will be the way that their phones are seen.
Mm-hmm.
So any dissension, whether it be, over the top or otherwise, if you get kicked because of dissension, then it's not necessarily.
But the way what you were saying earlier, Jason, it for you it seems like that doesn't matter either way, because you've suggested that we can't fully trust people that get review units and everything. And in my opinion, I think for you, that's, I'm not saying it's a good thing, obviously, not to get review units and everything, but you've built this brand. I mean, it's painfully honest tech, right? I mean, it doesn't get much more right than that, right? And that's what people expect, and that's what people get here. So, and then you've said it yourself that, if you're part of the marketing plan, if you get this and that, and yes, you are, maybe you're not, I don't know. I guess it depends on how you perceive it and how you bring across the information, and when you get those units and how you present it to your audience and everything. So you've made it clear that you don't want to be part of that, but at the same time, you flip the coin and you're like, damn, I wish I was part of that, right?
No, I don't want to be part of that. But I do I cover phones.
Yeah.
I would love to have one of the, but it's like, I wouldn't, I'm not like dying to be hashtag Team Pixel.
Yeah.
Because that to me is like cringy.
I stopped with all my coverage lately on the main channel and the new one. I don't use that hashtag anymore because I haven't been invited. I have sent the 4A last year and no follow-up since. Now, to be fair, we didn't get many of the devices you guys got in the United States or anything, but I've decided not to use that anymore. So I understand where you're coming with that. Yeah. I get that. I get that.
I mean, most of the stuff that it makes sense for me to cover, I would buy one way or the other. Um, the Pixel sort of hovers on the edge of that for me. Like if it came down to I can afford to invest X number of dollars in the channel, and I know that Apple related stuff is going to get me, you know, this many views.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will invest channel money into doing that because I know that it's gonna build the channel.
Yep.
Pixel is not as sure a deal.
No, it's like every other Android. It's going to have a 2 or 3 week shelf life, and then you need to move on to. And besides, your Apple stuff has always been better as well. Anyway, right? So,
Well, I mean,
and I think you're more passionate about Apple stuff in general. I mean, you want to review a damn cloth, Jason,
I
right?
I do well with Samsung stuff most of
Yeah.
the time and Apple stuff most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
People get frustrated that I don't cover other things, and we've talked about this before. The
You
fact
got to
that,
follow
like,
the data.
yeah, I mean, for one thing, like I'm not
Right.
making videos. I'm not making videos for my health, people. I mean, I make videos about stuff that I like,
Mm-hmm.
but I also make a decision about what is going to actually get views and what's not going to get views.
Yep.
And people get frustrated at me when I'm talking about Samsung and Apple more than Sony or some other smartphone manufacturer. But if Sony doesn't have their phones in carrier stores for the people, like the 75% of the people that watch my videos,
Yep.
that's how they get their phones,
Yep.
then I'm not going to pay $1,800 for a Sony phone
Yeah, and where's
just to cover it for shits and giggles.
yeah, and where you got creators like Dave West or Techspert, whatever, that are over in the UK and they have them in stores, it makes sense for them to cover it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I have this right here, the Realme GT5, Realme GT Master Edition, which is actually, I think, a step down from the Realme GT 5G, because this is the processor on here is a 778, whereas was an 855 Snapdragon. Anyway, like this is not available. This is a wonderful device and everything, but for the people that are within North America, they're not looking for this because it's not in the stores, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, if if more of my audience was in another region that got access to those phones, then I'd be looking to get those phones, but they're not.
Yep.
And I mean, like today, the handful of people who get sent everything are all talking about the new Sony phone. Oh, it's got a 1-inch sensor, and it's kind of like, well,
but there's channels that cover that. I mean, why are you bugging? Do you know what I mean?
well, I'm just saying, like, it's. I guess when it comes to the Pixel thing specifically, I would think that, and I guess I don't want to overstate my importance in the greater scheme of things, but I would think it would. I would think that Google would want people, to want people who might be somewhat critical to also have access to their phones. I mean, because even though Tech Odyssey is right by making the point about, say if the fingerprint reader is not all that great, but I mean, it's not the same as like completely panning the phone. And maybe it doesn't deserve to be panned. When I reviewed the Pixel 3 XL, I thought that there were enough things about that phone that were wrong that it deserved to be panned. I felt like Google almost got there, but didn't quite make it, and they had the makings of a good phone, but it didn't quite get over the top.
Yeah.
And so I called it what I called it.
Yep.
And I've said similar things about other devices, you know? And at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, like, I get I have serious moments where I really, really feel bad about what I'm doing on YouTube. I feel really icky being part of the culture of consumption. and feeding that culture. And it was all fun and games when I wasn't doing it for my job. But now that I'm doing it for my job, it's like I'm like one shade away from the ShamWow guy. It's
Yeah.
really like making this kind of content is disgusting. And there have been so many times where I just want to stop. And I can't,
Why not?
because I made a mistake and decided to make this my job. Um it's part of it is that when I made that decision, the world was a much different place, and the the sort of hypocrisy of the consumption culture wasn't put in nearly as stark a relief as it is now. And like today, I just my birthday always triggers this stuff, but I was just thinking to myself, like, I'm not creating anything of real value.
Well, I think you're helping. I think you're helping people make a purchase decision.
Yeah, but I mean, in the larger scale of things, is like, what am I doing? Just you know, pointing them to the thing that they're going to put in the landfill 4 years from now. It's like none of this matters.
I don't think. I don't think it's that jaded. But
Well, I'm talking about how I feel about it.
yeah.
Um, and like I'm stuck in this cycle where the most successful people in this game are either spokesmodels or, well, no, the most successful people in this game are spokesmodels for the products. Um, nobody really wants to hear somebody complain. And that to me is like the great difficulty about where I've put myself in my life at this point. Because I mean, I love tech. I love to geek out about tech, but now I'm just kind of like, what am I really doing?
Well, I mean, but this is deep. I can tell you this, that I am a much happier person now that I've got a daytime thing and I can focus on that. And then after 5 o'clock, I can come here and I can geek out with you and do my own thing and launch the Pixel channel and that kind of stuff. And then I have, the weekends and evenings with the kids and family and everything. And that's giving me a lot more. It's taking a lot of pressure off my back in that terms of I can have a much more healthier relationship with them. So maybe Jason, I mean, I know that you were looking around for a bit there and things didn't really pan out. I mean, just keep on looking, man, if you need to.
No, that's the problem is like I burned my bridges when it comes to professional stuff. I can't get a reference from my previous employers. So
Is that illegal? Like you should be able to get. They're supposed to just. It's not supposed to be an opinion. It's supposed to be a factual check. Like, yeah, he worked here. Yes, he showed up 5 days a week. Yes, he worked 40 hours a week. Like I
no,
don't.
no, I mean they can say whatever they want, really. Um, as long as it's couched within like a certain framework.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I kind of just got to this place where that like I I took the leap, and I had to make some sacrifices in order to do that. And part of what I sacrificed was, maybe staying too long at the job and allowing my other interests to degrade my performance to the point where it was something that I mean, I left for that reason, but maybe I didn't leave soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think you. I think you. I don't. I don't think you. I don't think you need to put a stake into it and say that you can't move on to this or that. You just got to keep on looking for the opportunities. And I mean, I got my daytime gig through a friend of mine, and I had to seriously research the company and everything that. And I'm glad I did. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing during the day and everything like that. I'm actually part of the supply chain. You know that boat that was stuck in the Suez Canal?
Yeah.
That was our boat. Sorry, America.
Well, the thing is, like,
Yeah.
all of that, like, woke me up to the fact that, like, I don't want to do any of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to go do this work for someone else. I don't want to go, you know, I just I'm basically after that whole situation, I decided that I was gonna like rededicate myself to making this channel work
Mm-hmm.
within the framework of like what I was willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And and hopefully use it as a jumping off point to actually do something that I feel is worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been really feeling bad over the past year or so that I haven't been able to do any music stuff. I haven't been able to do any writing. Um, and those things seem more valuable to me than making videos about tech products. So, I mean, but they also don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Well, I know that you can pump out a really good commentary video within a day, write the script in the morning, record afternoon, release it kind of thing. So maybe just pump those out and then, put that slot of time, whatever it is in the evening, so that or in the afternoon when you can, obviously away from the family and things. I know you got a lot on your plate there with the family and everything, to make sure that you can do your music stuff here and there, whether it's just for yourself or whatever, right?
well, the thing is, like, I actually have like I'm under contract to do some music for somebody,
That's great,
and
dude.
I haven't been able to
Do you
do
want?
it.
You know what? Hey, you know what? You should make some music for my channel, for
Well,
my new Pixel channel.
I mean, I can do that, but
I
yeah.
will pay you in co-hosting duties on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern time. He's not smiling, people.
No,
He's not.
no, I'm sorry. I'm reading comments. I appreciate all the supportive stuff that people say, and I really do. And I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to like boohoo or anything like that. It's just like you get to these existential moments. It's like I turned 50,
I
and
did when I turned 39, dude. I know what you're talking about.
well, it's like, okay, I put out my novel and the music project that went along with the novel. I put those out in November of 2011.
Okay.
Since then, I have written another novel and have enough songwriting material to put out probably 3 records, but I haven't been able to take them over the top to like actually being done. And the and I'm exhausted all the time. Like the YouTube thing, just it's a constant hamster wheel,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's like it's just one of those things where, I mean, maybe it's
I'll
a
tell you.
fault of mine. I can't put enough of my brain power on more than one thing to make more than one thing successful.
I have an idea, because I'm going to do the same thing in January. Okay. Like, I know you have no interest in going to CES. I'm going to be going to CES in January, but what I plan on doing in January, probably for the entire month, I think I might put out 1, maybe 2 videos, and that's across both channels. Okay. That's just to keep things active. I think you should do the same thing too, and just kind of take a real sip, because and it's a good time to do it, because you know that the views are non-existent in January, February kind of thing, right? So, take that little absence and maybe work on the other channel. Don't even look at a computer for a month. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to CES during that first week of January, and then I'm going to come back and spend the rest of January you know, because my mission at CES is going to be to network, to see our peers and hang out, and also to network with brands and everything. And then I'm going to take a step back and go, okay, is this still worth kind of pursuing in the evenings, 3 or 4 hours in the evenings and everything? Is it still a hobby kind of thing? Right now, it definitely feels like a hobby. I'm having a lot more fun with it because I have the daytime thing, right? But I feel like you do. I'm tired, man. I'm always tired, right? Like I did a 2.5 hour long stream, live stream last night with Digital Slang on his channel. I was expecting only an hour, so I actually had to end up recording today's video early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So
But I found that those are the things that I'm not willing to do anymore.
yeah. See,
I'm not willing to like stay up late to finish a video. I'm not willing to get up early to finish a video because it like the diminishing returns will just like escalate.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just be even more tired. And the channel has been doing well.
Yeah.
And I've been putting
200,000, dude.
2 videos out a week, basically, in this live stream.
Yeah.
The channel has, whereas before the channel would have a video that did really well and then like a bunch that just kind of like middled along, right? And,
Yep.
and didn't, the videos other than a couple last week have all been sort of building on one another. The view counts are all within a certain framework. They're not like in the hundreds of thousands, but they're in the 20s of thousands, and so that sort of consistency is good. And I feel like the 2 videos a week thing is helping because I think for a while, like I think there's a time in a YouTube life where blasting YouTube with, you know, video after video after video, day after day after day after day is beneficial to your channel. But then I think beyond a certain point, you have to figure out like what the balance is. And I feel like that's where I've been for like the last year. I felt like for the last year that like quantity was important, when I think after a certain point, the quantity wasn't as important. And I like, so I was just running myself ragged to do like multiple live streams per week and put out like 3 or 4 videos and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, like the videos take longer now.
Yeah.
For some reason, you know? And it's just kind of like, it's just one of those things where, and I mean, Bob's talking about serious stuff here. I mean, he's had cancer that's recurred after 5 years of remission. I mean, that kind of stuff, I can complain about making tech videos all I want, but that's the kind of stuff that really matters. And that's the thing ultimately that I'm afraid, like one day the meter runs out and I've got all this stuff left and I spent 10 years making videos ranting about smartphones.
Some people collect stamps. You know, some people travel the world. Some people, you know, dedicate their life to a religion and you know, preaching gospel or whatever, right? You make tech videos and help people make a decision and maybe at the same time entertain and inform. It's as long as I'm gonna channel my internal Roberto Blake, and I know you hate that, but listen, man, if you're passionate about it and you're having fun with it and it's keeping you afloat and everything, don't put down what you do, dude. Please don't do that, because you do good things and everything. And I think I speak for pretty much everybody in the chat, where like we wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be co-hosting with you unless we didn't want to hang out with you, unless we didn't value your opinion. We're not here because you're on the guy talking the internet right now. There's a billion other guys and probably 3 billion other girls that are doing stuff like that. By the way, shout out to a Tech 702. Here we go. Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good way to break. That's kind of a good way to kind of break this up and kind of wrap things up, because the
last thing I want to say about it is that like addicts, one of the problems that addicts have is an overinflated sense of grandiosity and an inability to really see themselves in like an appropriate context with the rest of the world. For some people, I mean, that can really be good. Like, you know, a lot of rock stars and a lot of famous people are addicts, and I think the overblown sense of grandiosity uh, allows them to be larger than life. But there's also times when that can be really destructive, and if you don't catch yourself doing it, then, you know, like in 12-step programs, they'll talk about like living your life like a right-sized life, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, and so that's the kind of thing that every once in a while I stop and I think, like, like, am I like way out in in nowhere land, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of making shit up in my head, and you know, should I be, you know, doing something different? Um, and ultimately, I mean, you are what you do. If something's super super important to you, you find time to do it. And I wrote every day for more than a decade and busted my ass mastering that craft. And the YouTube thing just kind of came as a surprise, and it started taking up more and more of my time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I have to respect that. It is a creative process. It is a lot of things, but I want to make sure that I'm not just like it's important to me that I'm not the ShamWow guy.
You're not the ShamWow guy.
But I
You're
think
like
that
you're like the slap chop guy.
but I think that there are a lot of people, you know, not to the overblown extent that he is what he is,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there are a lot of people in our space who are the ShamWow guy,
Oh, it totally is.
and that not I mean, I guess somebody has to be the tech ShamWow guy, I guess, but you know,
Some of them want to be.
yeah,
Like, I'll give you an example. He's there's no secret about it, but Travis MCP has said several times, if a brand came along and said, "Hey, we want you to be our new," he would jump on it, like a Samsung or like a OnePlus or something like that. Look at Viper, for example. vidIQ grabbed him. That's awesome, right? I'm not saying he's a ShamWow guy, right? But he got picked up by a brand that he likes, and you know,
yeah.
I don't know if that was ever the goal, but he's doing quite well over there. There's nothing, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess it depends on, you know, what you're.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from, dude. Like, I know you don't want to be laying in your deathbed and you know, 20, 30 years or whatever it is, hopefully longer, and going, oh, so I can look back at my life and I bought an expensive guitar, got 1 million views, and
Made
put up some
made the
videos
Can You Trust series,
in Can You
like,
Trust series.
which I mean, those are like the Can You Trust series and some of the other stuff that I've done that's sort of gone against the grain
Yeah.
of what is expected out of YouTube. You know, I like to be that irritant, and I value that stuff. I think that that's a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's one of those things where like I think look at Jonathan Morrison. Jonathan Morrison, I think, is going through a similar kind of like existential
Well, he wants to be.
moment.
He still wants to use the tech, but wants to be creative with it, or show how you can be creative with it beyond just taking pictures and video, but actually making music is something that Jonathan did well before. If you look at some of his older videos, have you seen some of his older videos? He's got he's got the
Yeah,
rock,
yeah.
you know, right? And like, so this is a total throwback to that, right? You know, when he was in the band and everything. So now he's making cool music and everything like that. And then on top of that, he's saying, here, creators, use this with your cinematic mode videos and everything, and that's pretty cool, man.
See,
You
I
know?
look at that and I see where he's taking the stuff,
Yeah.
and think like that would be a whole lot more. That would get me doing some of the stuff that I love. That would get me also folding it in with covering the tech.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Jonathan like worked really hard to get to a place where I think that he could make that leap and it not be a huge
Financial burden.
financial risk for him.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of what's been driving you and my decisions on our own fronts and within here has been driven by can we pay the bills at the end of the month, right? Let's
Yeah.
be perfectly honest, right? And that's why I got a daytime gig again. And I got to tell you, I like it, not only for that reason, but also being part of a team and everything like that, right? So I understand that drive on your end. But yeah, you're right. With Jonathan Morrison, for example, he spent all those years building up TLD to a point where he can put out a sponsored this and that or video, and it's going to get the viewership and this and that and the clicks and everything that, okay, he's good to go for the next couple of months. Again, I don't know what his financials are, but I'm just assuming because everything looks good, right? So
Yeah. I mean, I think that he ran a business and made money.
Yep.
And was probably more responsible with it than I ever have been with money.
I don't know how much he was involved with the selling, or if it's been sold, or if he's involved with the Fresh Prince. Remember remember he was involved with Sun Squared. I think he's either part of Sun Squared or Sun Squared is part of him. I can't remember. They did that version of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like a super dramatic, and Netflix picked it up.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be developing it, not necessarily with the people that are there, but very much in the same sort of tone, kind of dark. Anyway, that may have been a big factor as well. So
it could be. I mean, the truth of the matter is, like, I can pay my bills just doing the live streams on Amazon 5 times a month.
Give her.
But
that's very ShamWow.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I thought doing the Amazon streams would feel a lot more icky than they do.
They don't.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I feel like the Amazon live streams are more honest than like making a.
Well, here's why it feels like that, because the audience that's there has already decided, I want to go into Amazon today and buy something, right? They're already there looking for audio gear and everything like that. It's not like doing an ad read during a show or something like that. And it's like, that felt weird because maybe you don't use the product a lot or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm very like, I have a thing with Gamer Subs, right?
Yeah.
And I did the Andor wallet things, but I use that stuff. I've been using it for a long time. Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like an ad. At least I hope it doesn't feel like an ad to people when I mention and talk about it. Right.
Yeah.
The Gamer Subs has literally helped me lose weight. They don't want me to say that. So disregard that, everybody. But I mean, it's helped me get healthier and everything like that. Right. So I've got no problem telling people.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm talking about stuff on Amazon, and it's more of a conversation. Like, hey, people who happen to be watching right now,
exactly.
Here's a set of headphones that I have used, and I've had them for. This is what they're like, and this is why I like them. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about stuff that I don't like on Amazon.
And they don't want you to. They do not want you, and that's why I can watch almost any Amazon stream, and like be entertained, because the people that are showing. And the stuff and whatever, it's not like they're going through Amazon and going, I'll show this, I'll show that. You know what I mean? They're talking about what they're passionate about. And you can tell that, right? That's why some YouTube channels do really well other than other ones, because they're passionate about it and everything like that. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I launched the Pixel channel. And I don't mean to self-promote, but again, because it's relatable. It's been really easy for me to put this all together and everything, because I'm passionate about the Pixel. I'm going all the way back to the Nexus and everything like that. Right.
Yeah.
So we need to wrap things up here quickly. I'm going to ask you really quick, because we don't have it here. Have you watched Dune yet?
Yes, I have.
And without any spoilers, out of 10,
top 10 science fiction movie of all time.
Really?
It's
a top 10 for you?
Yes.
Not a top 5, but a top 10?
I have to watch it again to see if it gets to the top 5.
Okay.
Dingers gets a prize because he knows where this comes from. He gets a prize. I don't know what prize. I don't have any prizes, but you get recognition for actually knowing where this came from. Yeah, Dune was amazing.
I watched the original twice over the weekend, because like the reseller up here for HBO is Crave, but they don't have it yet. So they've been running the original, and the original is actually pretty good. I didn't know that Patrick Stewart was in it, and I looked up the year of it. It was just before he started doing Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah,
yeah.
The thing about Dune. Now, I don't know if I think you have to have read the books.
I keep on hearing that. I keep on reading that. Yeah,
and I don't like to say that when I'm talking about a film, because I feel like if you're adapting a book to be a film, then you should be able to enjoy the film without the knowledge that comes from the book. But the problem with Dune is everything, like all the relationships, all the hierarchies, everything that's going on is so in deep, and it's so integral to everything that's happening.
Mm.
If you spent time on screen, like doing exposition, talking about like, and House Atreides is this because they have this and they have this and they have this and they were this and what Villeneuve did really well was showed a lot of that on screen, but spent no time explaining it. So I think somebody who didn't know anything about Dune and walked into watching that film would be like, who the hell are these people and why the hell are they doing all this? But I don't know because I've read the books several times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a very heady kind of science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a space opera like Star Wars. There are the action in it is fantastic when it's there. None of it feels forced. All of it seems motivated. But yeah, it was really, really good. And I need to watch it again. The wife also said like I have to watch that again because she's read, that there were the Frank Herbert books, but then Frank Herbert and his son started writing prequels. And then Frank Herbert passed away and his son continued to write prequels. And there's a bunch of prequels. I haven't read all the prequels, but I've read probably the first 5.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Dune world is really, really great. And you know what? I also started to really enjoy Foundation.
I have it on my bookmarks there for Apple TV. I need to find an evening or something like that, or not having the kids awake to watch it because they'll ask a billion questions, and that's okay. Yeah. But it seems like the kind of show that
like Genosa said, it's stuff like this, the Kwisatz Haderach, like, and the Bene Gesserit, and all this other stuff, and you're like, what the? You're a what?
What?
You're a witch. You do what? You're not married to him. You're a concubine. I don't understand.
Okay, and with that. We'll be back here again next Tuesday at 8:00 Eastern. My name is Zach.
Yep,
that guy right there. That's Jason, painfully honest tech.
My name is Jason.
What video do you have coming out later this week?
Tomorrow I will have both, maybe an AirPods 3 video and a MacBook video.
2 videos tomorrow.
I'm going to work on both of them tomorrow. I mean, I've got the majority of the stuff shot, so I'm going to try and get up and get to work early. So,
well, I mean, I'll be around. I'll be working, but you can message me. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, everybody that showed up tonight, the super chats, the new members, and everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are.
I'm going to put this one more time in the chat. I'll be here. I'll be streaming here in about 25 minutes. That's where I'll be. So if you want to come over, we're going to take a look at some Nomad stuff that was sent, the Realme GT Master Edition, and some lights from Viltrox. Actually, I'll show you right here.
Yeah,
they sent me these. It's so cute.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I wanted to check those out. I got some Nanoleaf stuff.
They are bright and all sorts of different colors and everything. I've actually been using them for the last 2 weeks behind me. I don't have them up tonight, but very, very cool. I asked them for the longer ones because I'm like, I want to replace my lightsabers. I don't have them on tonight, as you can see. And they said no. But we're going to start with these. I have Viltrox lights here as it is. What's that?
You could just say that those are light daggers, not lightsabers.
I guess so. Yeah, they have 1/4-inch things here, which is pretty cool. But LED light out and everything like that. We're gonna take a closer look at these tonight. I mean, tonight's kind of a hodgepodge because I'm gonna check my voicemail as soon as we're done here. But apparently, I'll be picking up my Pixel tomorrow. So Thursday is gonna be drooling day for Zach. It'll be good.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy it. Zach, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I love you, man.
I love you too. I love everybody. I love everybody that's been here. I do appreciate everybody's support and the nice stuff. It is helpful to be able to talk about stuff every once in a while. So I do appreciate it. Anyway, Zach is kissing his microphone and I appreciate it. But once again, my name is Jason. This is Painfully Honest Tech. the podcast, I guess, is coming back. We're going to do the podcast.
Yeah, dude, start uploading that mother.
Yeah, I know. Why not? Anyway, this has been Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. My name is Jason. Until